pick that one up for any sort of first pick. Don't want to play the Syndra dance as it is.
Now, if SKT were on blue side, they would actually force a Zac ban out of Longzhu. SKT have been banning Zac on blue and red side largely. We all know that Blank is a Zac player, but given that he's on red side, will not have the chance to first pick it, and thus they have to ban it.
Galio going to be the second ban here. Not going to let Faker or Huni flex that one. Or Wolf, of course.
How many jungle bans will we see? Because Elise is definitely in Cuz's wheelhouse. That will be banned as well. Maybe the sort of game where Lee Sin is left available to both teams to potentially pick.
Does SKT just go 3 jungle bans?
I think it's unlikely. I don't think Cuz's Lee Sin is on the level of his other 2 junglers. It's a possibility. I think starting to be a bit more remote one. Still a respect ban to Huni. They don't want a first pick Rumble for Khan. He's a champion he can play, but not necessarily a master of it, like some of our other top laners in Korea.
Of course, lacking to get Khan one of these good matchups where he can use his lane dominant style. It worked out for them in the last game, and it is going to be the Trinity bans for SKT.
Korean players have said this is the top tier of jungle champions available. Zac, Elise, and Lee Sin. And that triggers Longzhu to go very early with their jungle choice. They will first pick the Kha'Zix after first rotationing it on red side. Does mean Thresh is left available, and your choice of Ashe and Varus, which seem to be the go-to AD carries for these two, but Caitlyn is also in the discussion.
We need to have a Thresh pick up here from SKT. It feels like, in my mind anyway, because otherwise Longzhu get the free Ashe Thresh rotation, keep their solo lane as a secret until the last round, but it's not how SKT want to play this one out.
So if you see a Thresh taken on the side of Longzhu, that means that Tahm Kench will almost certainly be taken at this last pick on the red side, and that's going to kind of be the push and shove. Wolf is an excellent Tahm Kench player, has been in and out of meta, but how can you not take Ashe Thresh here? I mean, it's available.
Ashe, yeah.
There's almost no reason not to. People will wonder how Prey got access to Ashe again, but they've really focused on Cuz, which is kind of an impressive thing for your very young rookie jungler to be drawing 3 jungle bans.
Well, they were the first questions that we had for Cuz, was the fact that he was a relative non-factor in their first couple of games here, and wanting to really create a name for himself, and he certainly managed to do that in their BBQ series, where he managed to pick himself up a lot of incredible performances. Almost undying, I believe, if I go back and have a look. Yeah, in the games that they won, Cuz was actually not taken once.
So either
306, 408.
Either it's Tahm Kench here, or you pick a mid laner and start banning mid laners if you're SKT. So they're considering their options, and in fact they will go top lane, so they're kind of going against the grain here. We'll see how much Longzhu puts into banning the Tahm Kench, given that it's such an obvious plug-and-play champion for SKT. Given they've locked in both Gragas and the Kennen, expecting one of those to go top lane, of course, and probably the jungle Gragas from Blank. Again, showing you the way he differs from someone like Peanut. So expected to be Huni jumping on to the Kennen. I wonder if Khan's been playing any Lucian in solo queue.
Shall see. In only moments. Not going to be playing the Jace though, as that one's going to be banned away. LeBlanc as well, away from Faker. Now SKT, balls in their court to round out their bans. But it is going to be the Lucian, so a lot of respect actually given to that counter pick.
Lets you know what's going on in solo queue. Looking at a lot of OP.GGs, and a lot of top laners were playing Lucian. Mid laners were already playing Lucian. So putting into perspective how much of a counter matchup the Lucian versus Kennen is, that Khan draws the same level of respect, and there is the Tahm Kench ban. Try and open up the pick power from the Ashe and the Thresh. Braum is available, though, and would still be a decent replacement for the Tahm Kench.
Of course, the Zyra there as well for the Varus Zyra lane if they want to go to it, but Talia also available.
Talia blind, take it into BDD. They don't have a magic damage jungler, so the threat of someone like Zed is lower. Kassadin could definitely be taken in this spot, does very well post-6 against Talia, but maybe they don't want to give up that pressure, and hey, is it time to go into the reverse matchup for BDD? It is. Not yet.
Not yet. 5 seconds to go, and I'm not going to believe this until he shows it. Oh my god, he's done it.
Taking the reverse matchup. Faker famous for doing this many times now, BDD. Considering, unless
Khan is going to be playing.
Surely not.
Oh.
If they lock this in, then we're just off to the races with Huni having to deal with the top lane Cassiopeia.
Oh my god, it happened! What is so
Top lane Cassiopeia.
We got the top lane Cassiopeia
against
of
Huni.
old.
Against Huni.
Oh,
Where we wondered where they were going to find AP damage, they find it in the top lane, trying to bully out the Kennen. And then the famous Zed pick from BDD against Faker on the Taliyah. Good matchup for the Zed. The hype levels couldn't really go much higher than Game 1, Atlas, but you're going to have to find another octave, because we've gone to Silly Street and the pick and ban, and Longzhu are getting creative.
this is not Silly Street. This is genius, Papa Smithy. And I've always wanted to see this utilized, just because we always talk about trying to find magic damage in a different lane so you can open up BDD's champion pool, which has a lot of these AD assassins in it. Cassiopeia is another option that we just haven't really seen that much.
Just got to tilt him, Atlas. That's what you got to do. Just got to tilt him.
I'm just so excited. Oh, God, this is going to be brilliant.
There's still a lot of disadvantages here. Cassiopeia and Kha'Zix don't have a lot of synergy, and Cassiopeia in a long lane is one of the most obvious people to try and attack. Neither of these champions, Kennen or Cassiopeia, have great instant pushing. They will push waves slowly, but jungle attention against Blank, especially a pathing jungler, will be trying to provide a lot of coverage around top lane and try to really hold the Cassiopeia accountable in lane. Still a very interesting choice. Khan always known for the Fiora, the more aggressive school of thought when it came to the top laners. But this one is one that's been homebrewed. The mad scientist Khan wants to get a double MVP, because if they win here and he pops off on Cassiopeia, we may have plenty of time to ask Khan questions.
Oh, most certainly. I want that solo interview like you would not believe as we have a look at the spicy matchup.
I just want the locked camera on mid lane, baby. The Zed coming through from BDD, his trademark against Faker's Taliyah.
We're going to need multiple streams, Papa Smithy, because I want to see the Huni versus Khan matchup as well. All of the lanes are exciting to watch. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it.
Atlas, it took a week and a half, and we already have a finals feel here at the Seoul E Stadium. Somehow, 2 games into SKT versus Longzhu, it feels like the playoffs are already upon us. For some reason, the playoffs have gone best of 3. Feels bad, man. But everything else is super hype. New picks, innovation, SKT losing game 1. Longzhu taking a lot of risk. The amount of die being rolled in this draft is too damn high, and the end result is that we are the winners, because we are going to learn something new about both teams and maybe even the meta.
Exactly. And deep vision actually going down. SKT was spotted as a 5-man unit. They've actually stayed here. The bottom side of the map, you can see Cuz hanging out towards the top side. We'll see whether he heads down towards that Raptor camp, but it looks like everyone is going to back away on the side of SKT.
Very different warding pattern. Remember, we noticed how SKT forced there to be a trade of vision in game 1 to try and make jungle pathing more predictable. Different spot here. There are a lot more places where information is incomplete, so very interesting to track whether they can shut down Cuz, who power farmed his way to happiness in game 1. They're going to go for the late contest, but we know Gorilla's here.
Yeah, Gorilla, of course. Spidey senses often tingling.
It provoked another ward to be put down, so that's 3 wards down on both sides. Weren't able to contest here in game 1. Blank sticking around, so a smite battle seems pretty inevitable.
And this lane's actually going to be difficult for BDD early on against Faker.
Sure.
You can see the threaded volley already pushing BDD away from even experience range, as Cuz taking a while dealing with these Raptors.
And what Blank is doing here is he's buying a massive health lead and then leashing the red. Every time these Raptors releash, Cuz gets lower and lower and lower. He's going to get information here, Blank. Cuz can't stick around. This is not the sort of heads-up play you can make.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's going to lose Raptors. There's nothing he can do.
And he might even just get solo killed by Blank as well. The flash comes out. He hops his way back, smites the Raptor. What was that?
That was an escape plan when things got really bad for Cuz. Now it's flashy. He gets out, but he's going to be multiple camps behind. And Kha'Zix is not an invading jungler at level 2 or level 3. So basically, SKT decide, let's shut down Cuz. 3 bans and then a level 1 strategy. End result is that Khan is left on an island against the Kennen, though. So that means he's happy to be very happy to push in, and it does relieve pressure in the top side. So Khan is the benefactor from his jungler taking one for the team because it's going to be rough jungle pathing for Cuz.
Oh, certainly will be. Has managed to take down the Wolf Camp and now will head up towards the red buff. His smite is back up as well, so should be able to successfully steal this one away with the help of Cuz as well.
Yeah, Cuz was able to push up, so Khan, so as you say, was able to push up, so they were able to contest the enemy red. Does mean that mana is going to be dumped into the red buff that Khan would rather have for laning. Cassiopeia does have good mana sustain from just being able to last hit with Twin Fang. But again, not ideal, but something's got to give when you're trading objectives around the map like these two teams are.
Praying Gorilla, a little bit behind Fang and Wolf, who are once again shoving out with this Lulu and Varus lane. Exactly the same matchup as we saw in the last game. We'll have that shove early on the side of SKT.
I'm just smiling and watching every time Huni has to deal with top lane Cassiopeia.
After he was such a jerk with the top lane Lucian.
When the narratives overlap with the games, the hype levels through the loop. Can Cuz actually kill this Gromp? My first instinct is no. Oh no, the heal comes up. Okay, W cooldown might be enough.
There it is. Whoa, that was exciting. Leaps on it. He's going to be able to get himself back, so there's Prey once again just scouting out exactly where Blank is. Oh, Hook can go slightly wide.
If you're wondering what type of cannon we'll be seeing, because of course no information has been granted yet, and Marin's been playing with the AP cannon in recent games, when you see Fervor of Battle, that's a pretty sure sign that it's going to be the AD cannon. The AP cannon took Thunderlords every time Marin run it.
Ooh, Faker actually getting Thunderlords. Trying to figure out how to get that into verb form. That was difficult. We got there. So decent harass back here from BDD.
BDD staying within 10 CS just fine.
Yeah.
For the mid lane, Doran's shield buff in full display.
Poison means that Huni has to get the hell out of that matchup.
Experience is going to mean a lot. We can see that Zed's still very far away from 6.
BDD, yeah, waiting for it though, and if he hits that level 6 without...
It's a long way away. Faker's always been a great judge of experience in the mid lane.
He's going to fake it back.
He's going to stay in lane, just against tier. Not a lot of power being added is...
Oh my god, that damage from Cuz. In goes BDD, the Ignite's there! First blood to the Zed for Longzhu!
Blank thought he was safe. He came in on a control ward, but the moment that he popped his head out was answered. I think they were waiting for the Rift Herald spawn there. Blank thought he was going to pick up a Rift Herald, died, and his flash was down from the level 1 hijinks. So somehow, Cuz actually comes up just fine, despite all the madness at level 1.
Yeah, and now looking to try and camp this one out. The ward over on to that Wolf Pit.
And the best thing about Longzhu is that the people that are starting to pick up this team, the people, the new fans, the old fans, they're really not sure who to get hyped about because everyone is kind of falling over themselves to be...
That hook was pretty crazy.
Important factors to these wins. Khan, Cuz have all picked up MVPs in the last 3. Praying Gorilla. Hype train never left for them, and BDD's no slouch either. So much going on the side of Longzhu. You can't help be kind of washed over when it comes to hype.
Well, hook is going to land. There's a Dark Passage to get Prey in here if he wants it, as Wolf being taken down so low. Prey deciding to respect the KT bottom lane a lot by not taking that Dark Passage.
4 summoners up, polymorphed.
Yep.
Chance of picking up the kill was only really a 50-50 if he committed the flash, and guess what?
I believe they also saw Blank walking down with that ward. Oof.
There's something about taking your advantage and getting out without having to expend anything. So getting Wolf down means that the Thresh and Ashe will have a lot of pressure relief from them. They can just trade CS and push as their whims do desire.
Once again, Cuz actually going to start stealing things away from Blank.
Got level 6 from that last little Raptor as well.
Continues to push forward. He's 11 CS in the lead, but this minion wave should be eaten up by the cannon, so Huni doing just fine, despite what looked very scary early on.
If we do see 5v5s, I'm very interested to see how Longzhu opens up. Cassiopeia dives are not really something you respect there, as BDD's Ignite is down. So he probably won't go for the all-in.
Oh, Khan, he's looking for it. Oh, there's the flash, but Faker flashes first. Khan unfortunately revealed himself a little bit too early.
But now you wonder, is that trade better for Longzhu or SKT? Because now Kennen's going to be top lane with minimal vision against him, and potentially can just all in onto the Cassiopeia pretty confidently. They know that Gragas level 6 as well. Cassiopeia is a sitting duck in top lane with no flash, but you could argue that Zed having Ignite up soon, he'll be happy as well.
Ooh, sorry, I got a little bit excited about the Ocean Drake. I know no one ever really gets excited about Ocean Drake, Papa Smithy, but with a Cassiopeia in the top lane, the extra regen could actually be relevant, as Cuz is going to be able to solo this one down.
The mana regen, like you say, is going to be happy days for him. Between the last hitting potential of the Twin Fangs and the tier, will be confident to get through the laning phase and farm up. Again, I'm really excited to see how team fights go, because Cuz and BDD are only going one direction. They're diving all in at the back line. But Khan can actually play around Prey and potentially Peel for him. Cassiopeia's ult is better used for Peel, unless the flash is up, then we know that the flash plays can happen. Speaking of flash plays.
Yep, Faker looking to get the ward down as in goes Cuz, but Blank has a good position. Ultimate is there to keep him safe. Gorilla turns up, does have the shield from the Dark Passage, and once again SKT bullied away from this mid lane.
Well, you say bullied, and sure they have to give it up, but Cuz did have to use his flash to get out, which can be pretty meaningful. They are getting nice zones around the mid lane, though. Faker's been forced into perhaps the most defensive itemization I've seen him go into in quite a while. Known for building AP in lanes where you should go Seeker's Arm Guard or something along those lines. Has rushed the Ninja Tabi, so he's feeling the pinch a little bit, Atlas.
He's going to be able to get a blue buff at least. No contest to come out of Longzhu, so that's a good news story. But 1,100 gold is the lead for Longzhu after that first blood, being the only meaningful difference as far as gold is concerned.
Huni will be going Wit's End against Cassiopeia. Makes sense for the lane assignment, but if you break a turret, send Zed into a Wit's End cannon, that's only going to go in one direction. So the build path for Huni here is actually going to be really tricky. You really want to get ahead, build Blade the Ruin King, and then just kind of hope for the best in every scenario, but wants to be able to crush the Cassiopeia. If the rotations are as on point as they were by Longzhu in Game 1, it's a sort of thing that can be exploited.
Well, so far a lot of vision being pressed towards the bottom side of the river here for Longzhu. As there's the death mark going down onto Blank. Ignite's there, but it's not going to be enough to kill him. But bullied out of his jungle and doesn't have to worry about the Gragas anymore, so still important. Didn't have to use the flash though, did Blank, so that is good news. Flash Body Slam still available to the Gragas.
And Ignite is down in the window where Faker doesn't have flash, so the all-in from mid lane will probably not be a reality either.
Especially with no flash on Cuz as well, to try and get that extra little bit of damage as Faker avoids a turret shot. Still threads the volley on top of BDD.
Being 12 CS down on a Zed, when the matchup only gets better for Zed in the 1v1. Arguably when the ultimate is up, but still. Zed will be happy to find himself in a CS advantage. Things have been a lot more even in bot lane. A lot of the successes for Longzhu were after the 2v2 kills. Two of them came in during the laning phase, and from there, the Ashe and Thresh unleashed their CC and initiation on the rest of the map, and we knew how that went. But a lot more control this time around.
There's a chance of corruption. Arrow is going to come down in response. They CC him for days, and Prey can't even take the lantern to get out. Good pick from SKT.
And that was with ultimate still on cooldown from SKT. Have to invest the flash, but still, exactly what they were looking for. This time, it's a kill on bot lane. Can't call it a 2v2. Blank was definitely the most important factor in that regard, and they want to get first brick this time to SKT. Only two members here currently from Longzhu.
Well, Gorilla, see whether he decides to do any funny business with a Dark Passage and a hook. Looks like this turret will fall down in favor of SKT. And it feels like for the first time, SKT will be able to get a gold lead in this series.
Does mean that if Zed goes to a side lane now, it's going to be without pressure rather than having taken a turret and try and take advantage of that pressure. A lot of different things you can do here. I think for now, they'll just keep standard lanes. They kind of want Prey to have a Blade the Ruin King before he eventually does move into the mid lane. Although, we could just stick Cassiopeia mid lane and go against the magic resist stacking cannon.
And I thought that might be something that they decide to do. Yeah, switch it all up. Khan just going to move towards the mid lane as BDD pops his Ghost Blade. He's looking for Huni. Not going to go for the death mark just yet. Oh no, there's the flash. He really wants this kill. Death mark damage. Will it be enough? There it is. Gets himself out. Perfect calculation by the Zed.
And Huni certainly knew that the jig was up instantly. Flash ulted to try and get out, but the flash in-turn there from BDD already had enough damage with the Ghost Blade. Khan's actually envisioned from what I could see there.
Yeah.
Less tricky than he realized. The mid lane's very different to top lane. That's
that was
okay,
the
Khan.
minion vision as well, so.
Just not used to the lane, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. This is a top laner. Parading around as a mid laner.
What's been happening with the lane assignments recently, Atlas? Second time that we've had complete chaos. A Freak of Freaks, of course, sending Mara in mid lane on the Fiora versus Galio. Ruining our scoreboards. Feels bad, man.
Yeah. And Crow having a great time on the Cassidon top.
And now Cannon's like, now Cannon and Huni in particular is like, damn it, I've got a wit's end.
Yeah, and now Khan's like, well, now I found Faker who's got so much armor it's ridiculous. And he doesn't care. He's just building towards his Rod of Ages, having no qualms at all. It feels like everything's working in favor of Longzhu as we hit about the 15-minute mark. And actually get some notable advantages.
And SKT does have control over the red side jungle in much the same way that Longzhu on red side have had control over SKT's jungle. They got the first turret. They've been able to put vision and largely roam through there. So while the lane assignments look really good for Longzhu, they are parking someone without teleport in the top side of the map, and that's why BDD is abandoning top lane for now. They don't want to give up any free Drakes to SKT.
Yeah, it's going to be an Infernal Drake, this Dragon number 2 as well, so bit of a boring ocean to come out, even though, you know, there are some things pointing towards it being slightly more exciting than it could be. As Hook going to go wide. Gorilla was actually looking to fake that one out.
No teleport for Huni, so they might have to give this one up here, SKT.
Yeah, SKT possibly feeling the pinch here as well, as this will certainly be going over to Longzhu, no contest.
There's 4 members on Longzhu craving the stats from the Infernal Drake. We've seen some very high tank compositions in recent memory.
Yeah.
Looking back to all the one threat 80 carry with Galio mid lane and true tank top lane, where Infernal Drake hasn't been on the menu and hasn't been that effective. This is the counterpoint to that with 4 true carries on the side of Longzhu Gaming.
The Big Ted composition is what I like to call it. Bit of a... Okay, that's a colloquial reference, unfortunately, but if you guys look up Play School, you'll figure it out.
Ah, yes, the contemporary Play School references in 2017.
Yep.
I know that our fan base is like pre-20 most of the time, but I know about pre-10, Atlas.
Hey, but we've all had a childhood. No one's born at 15, you know? Which is when I stopped watching Play School.
Are you sure Leslie Nielsen wasn't born at 45, 50?
Oh, definitely 60. As BDD gets Seismic shoved back.
Long lane.
Yeah, it does have at least... Oh, there's the weave as well as BDD. Oh, doesn't get over. Deathmark has to be used to try and escape as he's now battling this one out. Gets himself back to his original shadow as the tower has been tanked.
Meanwhile,
SKT was moving up. Gorilla, unfortunately, in the wrong place, gets pooped back into his team as Cuz tries to go in. Flashes his way out. Good shuriken damage from BDD. And it's one pick onto Gorilla. That could have been so much worse for Longzhu.
Yeah, Longzhu pressured into fighting on the other side as we saw the 1-for-1, or 1v1, sorry, go super close between Faker and BDD in top lane. Not necessarily what we expected in Champion Select, but just how the game has opened up. SKT back away. Rift Herald would be a lovely objective for them to claim, considering that Khan, BDD, really only Prey has wave clear to speak about on the side of Longzhu.
Yep, Khan just picking up his Rod of Ages now. See what he's going to build as item number 2. That's a cheeky Fiendish Codex, so it might be something like a Morellonomicon just for some cooldown reduction.
Yeah, it's still going to be a pretty standard build.
Will be the Banshee's Veil.
Yep, that makes sense too.
Sometimes we forget the changes of the new patch. I feel like the old Morellonomicon would be an odd choice in the Casio, especially if you're going to play a top lane.
Yeah, you get cooldown reduction in the Banshee now, which kind of feels good in every way. You know, longer is an item you can't pick up because then you don't have 5 item slots. I guess Cassiopeia 6 item slots for ability power. So the fact that you get a defensive shield, which is so relevant, and ability power and magic resist in one slot makes it really a very attractive item to build. Much like Guardian Angel for the likes of the Yasuo and Fiora.
I was looking for that level 11, try and get that extra evolution.
I just feel like you can't breathe, you know, you're really
waiting
for the engage.
Gonna get hooked! That's the arrow to land in on top. Oh my god, he's still alive. Prey needs another auto attack, doesn't get it. In goes Blank. They pick up the kill onto Cuz. Teleport now to come in as Huni wants to capitalize. No follow-up, and that was a drop of the ball by Longzhu.
Yeah, Longzhu realized they need to get a pick and get out. No way for Cassiopeia or, realistically, Zed's top lane.
Yeah, this should be a kill onto Faker. The last Twin Fang goes in, and he just didn't have the vision to get up there. This could be 2 turrets, actually, for Longzhu as well, if they can take top.
It's a lot to unpack with what happened there. The reason why they pulled away straight away is they saw the teleport. They realized their laners weren't in position to react. And their first thought was, get this pick and get the hell out. It's going to be a 1-for-1 or more. Crucially, they didn't get the pick. It ended up being just a 2-for-0. They will lose the turret as well. So the flow of objectives here is still towards the side of SKT. Should have been better from Longzhu. So you watch this replay. Remember that Zed and Cassio aren't going to get here. And they realize, they see the Gragas walking up. They have to respect the teleport. They see the teleport now. So the respect was there from Longzhu. They realized that they had to respect the teleport play, but they just had too many things in their head. They got bamboozled by all the different variables. While they get top turret and most of bot lane turret, they'll feel frustrated because it felt like Longzhu had the exact right call, but 10 damage, 100 damage was the difference between getting in and getting out, and in this case, being caught.
And it just felt like Cuz cancelled an auto attack taking the Lantern. Seemed like a relatively unforced error, as that Lulu should have been dead. I feel like even the shield wouldn't have come up if he had got that one off, but who am I to judge?
BDD's got some items, Atlas.
He's feeling good.
Given that Faker started the Seeker's Arm Guard, understandably, then with the lane assignments going all over the place, gone Rylai's first. Very interesting itemization. Rylai's largely fallen off most of the Rylai's uses after the nerf. Doesn't provide cooldown reduction, doesn't provide mana. Very blue buff-centric build from Faker, but it does give him health and armor. And given that he didn't want to fully commit into Zonia, which is a lot of gold spent on the stasis effect, this is the most power he felt he could pick up, but also have respect stats for someone like the Zed.
Yeah, possibly early game emergency as well, given the fact that he wants to create space between him and both Khan and BDD if he meets them in a side lane. Next Dragon is going to be an Infernal Drake, though, so we're looking at a possible team fight to come out if SKT does want to try and contest this. Looks like it's going to be the top side of the map that SKT are focusing right now.
Khan has gone very offensive with this, but it ended up being the Merlin.
Wow,
may still be a Banshee Veil later, but looking for pick power as early as possible. Like you say, these Drakes are being contested. We've had a series with Rift Herald being contested, Infernal Drakes being the Drake has to be contested. Herald was not taken this game.
Well, Weaver's Wall comes down. Prey gets himself onto the right side of it as Faker just committing to this one. Prey flashes his way out, and there's the barrel. Blank gets him out of the way. There was no vision, but Faker still picks up the kill.
Dark Passage not available from Gorilla. No heals, of course, means they do get the pick, and you'd imagine the Infernal Drake. Cuz can go pretty Rambo for the steal. He does have Dark Passage.
Well, Cuz is looking for it, but doesn't pick it up. It's actually Bang that secures the Dragon.
Yeah, Cuz got the smite a little bit early. No smite coming through from Blank that time out.
Well, a lot invested as they were just going for the steal. Not any sort of fight. Khan could have teleported, decided not to as Faker possibly in trouble. He's got a lot of health. But the rest of his team is waiting in the wings.
It's a bit of a tester from BDD. Wanted to go all in, but was waiting to see how quick the reactions were. Spatially aware of the fact that Bang and Wolf were close, and Wolf still had Wild Growth available.
Well, the hook isn't going to land, but is he far enough out of position? The flash has to be used. Piercing arrow not going to find the mark. Once again, the Dark Passages from Gorilla always making sure that Cuz can go aggressive.
Not registering. Meant the kill was not observed, though. Man, if you walk near an unwarded brush,
oh yeah,
it's not a pick comp like you think. You know, it's not the pick comp where there's Renekton and really obvious pick tools, but they are certainly there. And
all right,
Khan gets the damage. Got the damage on Huni, but didn't get the face check.
Yep. Sometimes you just need to yell at someone, man.
I've been there. It feels like you do it at the screen every time you cast.
I do. It's kind of my job.
What's your problem with screens, Alex?
Well, these ones are kind of small.
That's fair.
I don't know.
That's what you're screaming. It's like screaming, you're like, wish you were bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh god, there's a... Okay.
Don't touch it, Alex. Keep away from the reference.
It's only making it worse. Okay. Well, Phantom Dancer is picked up by Bang, as it is by Prey as well. No one going for any Hurricanes. Going to try and make sure that these 1v1 scenarios are going to be okay by both of these AD carries, trying to keep themselves alive as much as possible. Bang with a slight item lead. The fact that he could possibly be going towards either QSS or a Hex Drinker.
Faker close to his Zonias. Imagine that Fiendish Codex. And completes it just as we speak.
Yeah, nice.
So suddenly he's less susceptible in side lanes. Now, if it's a long enough lane, Zed can still have kill pressure. You just basically get in there into melee range, start autoing, and even if you don't use ult, Zonia's going to have to be used at some point.
Longzhu now not with the lead that they had in the last game. Of course, it was still very close at this point last time around, but Longzhu need to find an avenue back into control.
Yeah, control wards is their best way to do that. They have a very good pick comp if Thresh is hitting hooks, and to make that happen, needs to be with vision disadvantages, needs to be playing around objectives, so the more wide SKT can make this game, i.e. the more they can make them play 3 lanes and not have to respect the pick power as much, because Longzhu's comp is just so much weaker in the open.
Thought that might be a Weaver's Wall opportunity, but Faker a little bit too far away up towards the top side, skating his way down now as BDD allows this wave to crash. He's going to head back home and see which items he decides to pick up. Could be something like a Hex Drinker.
I wonder how early you go Guardian Angel in this game. I think Guardian Angel maybe now.
Yeah, BF Sword.
BF Sword. It could still be the Duskblade, which is a very powerful choice for the Zed, but Duskblade or GA, depending on scenario, seems to be the likely pickup.
Picked it up in his last game as well as... I think that was an arrow landing on the blink.
It was.
I was glancing down at my sheet of paper, and of course an ultimate gets thrown out.
Scouting arrow.
So that one happens. Hawkshot was on cooldown and doesn't have a scrying orb either. Needs to utilize drastic measures as, yeah, Prey is going to get potentially caught out. As that minion needs to die. But Prey is going to survive, just able to create enough distance. BDD continues to split push on the top side of the map. Khan on the bottom side doing the same thing, and Longzhu's 1-3-1 composition in full effect at this stage. And what is the answer from SKT?
SKT lane assignment is important. Huni has great itemization for trying to deal with Cassiopeia in a side lane, but woeful itemization for dealing with Zed. Wit's End, Frozen Mallet just wants to chase down the Cassiopeia in a long lane and kill her with auto attacks, even has the QSS to not have to respect the Petrifying Gaze as much. But that does mean they have one less option. They are not equally flexible compared to Longzhu. We're pretty happy with any lane assignment. So SKT will continue to try to rotate Cannon into the Cassiopeia lane. That means they're often going to be second to rotations. And someone like, and Gorilla with basically anyone from between Cuz, Prey, and Khan can make pretty aggressive rotations through the enemy jungle, put down control wards, and try to get the same picks that we've alluded to throughout the majority of the first 26 minutes.
Yeah. Now Khan's going to be able to go back, grabs himself his Void Staff as item number 3. Has probably stacked up that tier to almost maximum, so that Seraph's Embrace will be coming in very soon. As BDD cleans out this wave very, very quickly. Now with all of that flat AD that he's built up. 30% CDR. Certainly feeling like a happy Zed right now.
We don't see the priority on rushing Seraphs. Now, Seraphs was really important for, say, someone like Faker in Game 1, but here, you look at SKT's comp, they're not diving the backline. That's not what this comp does. Taliyah does damage to the front line, finds it much harder to damage the back line. Varus can poke, but again, is largely going to be hitting closest target. It's not an AP cannon, it's an AD cannon. So SKT are more about playing the side lanes and specifically killing the front line. So having a defensive shield feels like if Khan this game has to pop a Seraph's Embrace, they've probably already lost the fight.
Yeah. Well, that's Guardian Angel completed here for BDD. The old image of the Guardian Angel as well. Of course, that one has been updated.
Not yet, Atlas. We're living in the past. 7-10, baby.
Oh, yeah. It looks pretty now, though. I got very confused. I was playing. I was like, where's my Guardian Angel?
Did you have a chain vest and a Negatron cloak in your inventory?
Oh, yeah. I'm bad at my job, Pop Smithy. Prepared the items.
Didn't need me to tell you that, apparently.
Hey. I finished my Dead Man's Play, got my Wit's End, and then built my Guardian Angel.
Boom!
Hey. Yeah.
You're playing Fiddlesticks, though. That's my bad.
That's not even Criddle Sticks. That's just silly sticks. Alright, well, Gorilla going to get piercingly arrowed The outer turret is going to fall in the mid lane. Top lane is going to be the answer, though, from Faker, but can Longzhu find anything more in the mid lane, as they're possibly getting surrounded, Vision being fought for, and Longzhu winning that battle for the moment with the 5 team members here.
I have to wonder, what is SKT's win condition this game? To me, it's get Huni in a side lane against Cassio, get kill pressure on the Cassio, build a Hurricane, and then try to make team fights work. Because 5v5s are very hard to navigate here for SKT, given that Kennen is so fiercely single target without a Hurricane, and is always not the best team fighter with the on-hit build.
Well, BDD not wanting to face check that
saw
one.
Lulu that time.
Oh, there's the pick, possibly onto Gorilla. He gets kicked back, but look at the damage from this Cassiopeia. Deathmark comes in the back line as there's Bang. He's going to be taken down. BDD gets himself to safety. Huni now doing so much damage. Prey picked off once again, but in goes Cuz. There are so many damage threats on this Longzhu team. And Cuz is going to blast plan his way out. The leap's not there, though, and the double kill comes in for Blank. It's a 3 for 2. As Longzhu have a very strong Cassiopeia to try and get themselves some more. Seismic shove not there. BDD actually caught with his pants down just a little bit, but flashes instead of losing that Guardian Angel. Huni towards the top lane just wants to push this one forward.
So hard to evaluate these fights. These are not traditional team fighters in the way they're kind of put together in this particular game. See the Zed living longer than expected. Got the kill on Tavares. Nice cash in terms of the new passive on the ultimate there as well. Picking up that kill, we'll have to check in and see how much was there. This is an emergency engage from Longzhu because Gorilla was dead. All right, but into the back line, nothing Bang can do, dies there. But the teleport is perfect, and even though it's not an AP cannon, both Prey and Cuz were disabled for the majority of this fight. Cuz may get out. But a 1-for-1 trade, support for jungle is not ideal. Just so strange to see a team fight where, at the end of it, Kennen and Zed are still alive chasing down members, because everyone's kind of built for split pushing and picks, not necessarily the team fights. Speaking of being built, Huni doesn't have teleport.
Yeah, there's no teleport, so we've got 5 members strong of Longzhu, and look at the damage onto this Baron. They've got a Mountain Drake. There's the hook, and it is going to be a slightly late QSS onto Bang. Blank wants to try and steal this one away, but Cuz, he backs out of this one, doesn't want the 50-50, and SKT still have this Baron leashed.
They want to finish it.
Cuz, can he actually get in here? He will have the leap. It's going down so low, but they want to try and get him out of there. It is going to be Blank that secures it, but there was no vision, and SKT grabbed themselves the Baron buff.
Yeah, the control wards there was so important from SKT. No real re-engage. Prey goes for a cheeky recall, not going to get it. Another death comes on, piled onto the list. Longzhu were outthought there by SKT. They had more tools, they had the control wards, and no way for Longzhu to truly contest the Baron.
Yeah, now the Renan's Hurricane comes in for Huni, so he's not going to be spending as much time in these side lanes because the minion waves just will not last very long. SKT will take their first turret of the Baron buff. It will be that mid lane inner. Huni will shove up this bottom lane as well, and once again SKT, that top wave does have to be dealt with, as there's the Deathmark. Blank might be out of position. Well, might. He's definitely out of position. Hook's going to land from Gorilla, and he actually picks up the kill there as well. So this might halt SKT momentarily.
Yeah, it's going to stymie the Baron buff, which is a win in itself for Longzhu Gaming. Huni's still going to bring up a minion wave, though. And Longzhu do not have the best tools to deal with Baron buff minions. Melee range wave clear from the Zed. Cassiopeia going to take even longer taking down single targets against the Baron buff. Only Ashe really has reliable wave clear in this scenario, and she doesn't have a Hurricane, so it's not to the same level that other Ashe builds will take you. So relieving pressure, picking up the pick was so important because that's kind of their wave clear. Killing one person, forcing SKT to back off, and buying time rather than killing minions at a quick pace.
Yeah. Well, Blank, he didn't quite get the memo. He's also trying to build a Guardian Angel-like thing. It's not true. It is, of course, the adaptive helm. It is coming. I had you for a second.
Gargoyle Stoneplate.
Gargoyle Stoneplate, sorry. Of course, so I do get a rock in the end.
Gargoyle Stoneplate's so good on Gragas because his damage late game was always the criticism, right? We're like, well, he has a strong laning phase, but shame his damage does nothing in the late game. You don't need to do damage when you're this tanky and this disruptive as a Gragas. It helps him retain his identity so well as Prey's going to pop over.
Oh, Cars actually is going to throw down the ultimate. Has a few charges of that. He's going to be able to get himself out.
But yeah, putting damage into Blank will be fruitless in a team fight.
Yeah.
And if that means that Prey is wasting auto attacks and does nothing, that's pretty big for SKT if they can deal with the diving threat of Cousin BDD.
Well, now BDD dealing with that top wave. Hawkshot did fly through as Khan. Looking to try and deal with this. The barrel does land. Seraphs comes out, but he's just going to be destroyed. Wolf, in fact, picks up that kill. Wally's trying not to take it.
Team that is controlled, red side vision, seems to be the team that has won games in this series. Khan found all on his own. These champions don't have the tools to deal with the Baron buff, so while they had to recall, while it was delayed because of blanks being picked off, SKT will now be knocking on the door of an inhibitor.
Yep, 30 seconds on Khan as well, so there's 5v4 to be utilized by SKT. Only a couple of minions remain though, as Prey does turn up. No Hurricane, but still deals with the wave with the volley. BDD also enough to deal with this mid wave as well. So Huni stymied. SKT now with a fresh minion wave will shove this bottom lane.
12 seconds until Khan comes. He does have a teleport ward, but it might be too late.
Yeah, Faker actually flashing forward, but they take down the turret. Huni is going to be able to get the stun on Cuz, but he takes the Dark Passage. BDD throws down the Death Mark, but the GA does come in. He's not going to be able to get the follow-up damage that he requires. Does make his way out, but is taken by Blank. Securing that kill quite easily. It is going to be Bang that picks up the next one, and they're falling like flies now. SKT, this is the dominance we expected from the world champions, and they wipe out 4 members of Longzhu.
Yeah, the smart play around Baron was really the knife in the backside of Longzhu. It took so many risks, went innovative, but the innovation will not lead to a Game 2 victory. No sweep for Longzhu Gaming, and we all invited a Game 3 between Longzhu and SKT. Great series so far, and we'll keep going.
This is exactly what we wanted, Papa Smithy, so it's all evened out. The early game did belong to Longzhu for a small amount of time that series. They got a lot of dragons. They did have lane control as well. Dictated exactly what items their opposing laners were going to buy, and then had the right idea switching things around. But SKT, they just teamfight so well.
You bring in Blank, and suddenly the whole team as a general seems more respectful. It seems like there's one more voice that's saying pull back, or one more voice that's focusing on control, rather than one more voice egging on the dive. It's not the, I can get them, it's the, this is what we can do, this is what we control. And in general, specifically the play around Baron, where they cleared out the first attempt, got the control wards on it, no real re-engage. You also notice they randomly DPS'd it after a inane amount of time. They weren't really committing, and then instantly took down the Baron. Cuz was too late to jump in. Very different controlled SKT. And SKT with Blank remains undefeated.
Yeah, just stunning. And Faker had an interesting item build this time around. Decided to go for that Rylo's Crystal Scepter, but he was pivotal towards the end of that game. And actually, control is the aim of what they were actually doing in that game as well. Like, everyone having the ability to slow people down, control the pace of the game, was beautiful to see.
I mean, they had 2 assassins, the Zed and the Kha'Zix jumping in.
Yeah.
They were tanky enough not to die initially, and then guess what? Rylai's slow, other slows, getting a pick on the person, looking for the pick, slowing down the assassin, and changing the course of the game was the strategy with the Rylais.
Yeah, it was absolutely stunning. And remember, Game 3 going to be coming up very soon. We're going to have the side switch as well. We'll see whether Longzhu's red side dominance is going to prevail, but we are going to have a short break. When we get back, SKT Longzhu, Game 3.